We'll check pro graphic settings, settings that I use for recording videos, main parameters, PostFX, best sound settings, how to install the custom site that I use, and many other bonuses throughout the entire video. Let's click on these lines, go to options, and click on graphics settings. First thing, mode, full screen or full screen window, doesn't really matter at all. Choose whatever you want to use. Resolution should be set to absolute maximum because otherwise your vision is going to be completely ruined and spotting enemies will be much more difficult. Graphics API, this one really depends on your PC. Try turning it on to Direct3D 12 because it can save you a lot of FPS, but if the game starts crashing a lot, you can just revert it back to Direct3D 11 and you'll be absolutely fine. Also, to the guys that can't launch Direct3D 12 because it instantly crashes as soon as you just load into the Angar, one of the issues might be the older Angar model because, well, it has just the older assets and they crash instantly. So you will have to revert back to the old depressing brown default Angar that we have right now. Render resolution. If you will use anti-aliasing, you will not notice any difference at all. However, with anti-aliasing off, the difference is huge, and you definitely want to max this thing out as much as possible. Anti-aliasing method. It's super important, but it is a tiny bit complicated. Basically, there are 4 different ways you can handle this. And if one option doesn't work for you, or you just want to increase or decrease your settings accordingly, you can always go back and forth over these options. With the first option, your game will look like it's been made in 1998, but it will give you one of the biggest advantages in the game. Most of the pro players use this one, and it is a great option for old computers and old laptops. To turn it on, all you gotta do is like scroll down, and at the very bottom you will see old video card support. So you just turn it on and you reload the game and you'll be fine. However, it will lock most of the graphics controls for you and the game will look extremely minimalistic. That's why we're going to the second option. Now, from older to average PCs in this region, you can simply turn anti-aliasing to none. It will look jittery at first, and all those flickering things, that's the jitter. But at least it's not extremely blurred where you can't understand what you're looking at. Now, what you can do is go a step further and activate SSAA times 4, which will drastically increase the quality and it will reduce the amount of jitter that you see. By turning anti-aliasing to none, you still get the ability to change all the other graphic settings, which is just great. Third option is for medium to strong PCs. Your option is to turn on TSR or TAA. Quite a few pros use this one, but most of the time it's used by streamers. This option will eat a little bit more FPS, but it will make the game look much better and it will get rid of a lot of jitter. And we will make it look even better with PostFX a little bit later. For now, if you see that your PC is handling this one very easily, you can go and turn on SSAA times 4 and it will look way better. But it's pretty heavy resource-wise. And the last fourth option is for guys that have NVIDIA graphics cards. So basically, if you go to your main screen and press Ctrl-Shift-Escape, your task manager should pop off. Click on Performance, click on GPU, and if right over here it says NVIDIA, and if this number is over 2000, then you're good to go and you can definitely do this. In that case, what you do now is you have to open NVIDIA app. If you don't have it, I'll put a link in the description so that you can download it. Once you download it and update it to the app thing, just spam next few times and you'll be golden. You can turn off the overlay, it's pretty annoying sometimes, so yeah. Go to drivers and make sure that your drivers are up to date. Oh my god. And right over here in this corner, just press update and you're gonna update the drivers, right? And it will take a long while now, boys. Then what you do is you go to graphics right over here, that left corner. You click on WarThunder right over here and scroll down until you see DLSS override model preset. Click right over here and click on latest and then click apply. You can play around with these parameters right over here, but at this point, latest chooses the best option for you on most games anyway, so you can just keep it on latest. And the last thing that you have to do is look a little bit below it, and you will see DLSS Override Super Resolution. Click on that thing, click on DLAA, and then press apply. If something goes wrong, you can always restore it right over here. You can just click restore and you'll be all good. So if something breaks or your computer explodes, you can just click on that one and you'll be fine. Now you can turn on WarThunder back on again, click on these 3 lines, go to options and go to graphic settings. Make sure you're on Direct3D 12. Click apply and restart the game. Again, if your game starts randomly crashing and there's a lot of freezes, you can always revert back to Direct3D 11. You'll be absolutely fine. It's just we're trying to save a little bit more FPS for you. That's what we're trying to do. You can still use this option with Direct3D 11, no problem. What you gotta do now is you gotta go to test drive, click OK, all that kind of stuff. Go to graphic settings, and in graphic settings, turn on DLSS. And at this point, it's going to function like DLAA right now, not DLSS, but that's not the point. The point is, this is the pure base of making your game look much, much better and very, very sharp, very clean, and it's going to be, it will make spotting enemies much more easier. All right, but we got to fix it with PostFX, but now we got to go through other options as well. If it's 2 FPS heavy, you can always reduce the upscaling render, or go to third option, because third option is extremely great, or second option, and you'll be fine. Now, that's it. Anti-aliasing done. From now on, it's gonna be easy peasy. NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. If your graphics card is working at around 97% all the time when the game is turned on, you can definitely turn on NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency and it will help you. If it's below 70 to 85%, it's pretty much not going to do anything at all for you. Anisotropy makes roads and grass, other kind of rubble, look more detailed at further distances, so just to save FPS, you can turn it off. Graphics quality, ignore. Texture quality. It's going to make your planes and helicopters look much more detailed. It doesn't affect the quality of stickers at all, and it doesn't affect the looks of tanks unless you're on a lower client, so in that case it does. It also reduces the quality of some textures, but it's just finding them is pretty difficult to begin with. So for weak computers, definitely turn it off. For strong computers, you can turn it to high. Shadow quality. It makes shadows much more darker and much more accurate. So basically, it's a lot easier for your enemies to hide in them. Turn it to minimum to make it brighter and save massive amounts of FPS. Water quality. Additional FPS is going to benefit you 100% of the time, but if you turn on water quality to high, then you get the ability to spot enemies that smoke themselves if you're far away from them, if they're standing on the water. All you gotta do is look at that reflection right over here, and you see this dark spot, that's actually the tank. And you can notice that these dark spots just move somewhere over here and you can just finish off the enemy. So sometimes it helps, but it's very, very niche thing. With medium or low quality settings, you will not get this advantage at all. So if your PC can handle it pretty easily, then you can turn it to high and have this advantage on. But if your PC can handle it, just turn it off. It's just such a niche thing. It pretty much never happens. Water effect quality, just how water looks when you drive over it, shoot it, all that kind of stuff. I haven't noticed that much of a difference at all, and actually on low quality, the waves look better for me personally. So yeah, just turn it to off and save FPS. Cloud quality in flight. Do you see any difference? Because honestly, I don't at all. It's just, it makes a little bit more clouds actually, but most likely it's just my luck while recording. So you can turn it off to minimum, it doesn't matter. Cloud quality on ground. Same story as the previous one, just turn it to low. It really doesn't matter at all. Reflection quality. It's difficult to notice the difference at first, and I saw it only when I stopped the frames and looked at it like so. Low quality spreads out the light. High quality makes it more defined and much more accurate, so shadows become a little bit darker as well. So pros, just turn it off to save FPS. Effect resolution reduces the resolution of like explosives and fires and all that kind of stuff to the point that it resembles a peeled potato. It's really your choice to keep it on or off. Pros, turn it off. Terrain quality. It adds like small rubble and shadows on the ground, so it's pretty difficult to spot actually. You can turn it off to save FPS, and most likely you're not going to even see any difference at all. So SSEO increases the shadow quality on objects. Basically makes dark places much darker. So it's set to off to save FPS and increase the visibility. Tired track marks. It's not as helpful as it used to be. At this point, it's pretty much just cosmetic. So you can keep it at high just in case, or you can turn it off to save 0.15 FPS. Cockpit mirror reflection quality. If you're playing simulator battles with planes, then turn it to maximum. If not, turn it to 0. Global illumination also makes shadows much, much darker. So basically it makes it easier to hide from you in the shadows. So you can definitely just turn turn it off and you'll be fine. Physics quality, turn it off or just one step. Test it out which one works better for you, because this way you will see a lot less sticky trees that just stick to your tank, and getting them off of you will be much more easier, but you will see a little bit more flying trees and whatever. Terrain displacement quality. You can turn this off and you will not see any difference at all, so it's absolutely fine. Tree range had massive changes. 2 years ago, it gave you this insanely overpowered advantage over other players. However, it's been drastically nerfed. Basically, tree range means render distance, and it is responsible for switching low poly models into high poly models. Not so long ago, it allowed you to see enemies through the walls and stuff, but the amounts of those spots has been drastically reduced, which is awesome for us normal players. Also, there are a lot more places where enemies can hide from you and be completely invisible with tree range set to low, because low poly models are just going to cover them up. It still might be worth turning it to 0 if you're casting and flying around over the battlefield, because it will reduce the amount of bushes and trees that you see. But you could also argue that on low tree range, there's always stuff popping on your screen because it keeps loading into higher poly models, and it's super distracting. So at this point, I would suggest you to keep it at around 50 to 40%, unless you have a very old computer, and just then crank it to 0. Particle density. Explosions are bigger, there's more shine to things, and smoke is also denser. So you can turn it off, save a lot of FPS, and increase visibility when there's like heavy fighting everywhere. Grass range to off, because it puts you at a massive disadvantage FPS wise and visibility wise. Peak and hills basically will be much more challenging if this guy is on. Small object shadows. It adds shadows to like small parts of the tank, like the handles and tracks. It also makes rubbish on the ground cast shadows, like just more shadows become darker. So we set it to off to increase the brightness of the game and reduce the load on PC. Advanced Shore really depends on your kinks. I keep it on. Pros turn it off to save 0.005 FPS. Heat haze looks very cool, but if you're casting a lot, it might get in your way and just cover a few opponents for you. So in that case, just turn it off and that's it. Far terrain details works only for tanks as far as I tested, and the difference is only visible on few maps. You can turn it off to save FPS, you can keep it on high. It doesn't need a lot of FPS anyways as far as I tested. And lens flare, very cinematic, beautiful thing, which adds shine to explosions and sun, all that kind of stuff, but it obscures our vision, so we turn it off. And the last thing, blur. Dude, it's like every single game has blur turned on by default. Like, what the it's the first thing that we gotta turn off. Dude, it's so annoying, man. It's what you do is you just scroll down to the bottom, to the very bottom, and notice motion blur strength. Make it a complete 0, just complete 0. And cancel motion blur must be set to yes, because if it's not set to yes, you're gonna get motion blur anyways. So yeah, this is how it has to look, and you will get rid of motion blur. These were the pro graphic settings, which we will improve in PostFX a little bit later, but quick speedrun for the guys that want to use my graphic settings, which also give advantages, but keep the game looking beautiful. If you just want to record videos or something like that, you can still get nukes very easily with it. Obviously, pro graphic settings gives you bigger advantages, but at least it doesn't look like a freaking potato, and those advantages aren't that drastic anymore. On PC with NVIDIA graphics card, I use DirectX with DLSS, basically the fourth option that I showed. And on the other PC, I use the third option, which is TSR and SSAA ×4. In both cases, I keep anisotropy at ×16. And now what I'll do, I'll name all the options one by one so that the guys could turn on WarThunder and just click on the settings one by one. All right, ready? Begin. Texture quality, high. Shadow quality, very high. Minimal shadows, skip. Water quality, very high. Water effects, low. Cloud quality flight, 0. Cloud quality ground, 0. Reflection, middle or maximum. Effect resolution, very high. Terrain quality, very high. SSAO quality, middle or medium. Tired track marks, very high. Cockpit mirror reflection, off. Global illumination, low. Physics quality, a little bit, just one step. Terrain displacement, 0. Going a bit lower is tree range. Set it around 40 to 50%. Particle density, 0 unless recording B-rolls, then I max it out. Grass range, 20 to 25%. Small object shadows, off. Advanced shore, yes. Heat haze, off. Far terrain details, yes. Lens flare, yes. And if you scroll to the very, very bottom, motion blur 0 and cancel motion blur set to yes. Dude, I hope at least one person in the world actually used this, because in my mind it sounded so awesome and so comfortable. It's crazy, but I don't know if it worked in practice. So let me know if someone used it. Please let me know, guys. Okay, now we go into PostFX, which will increase the visibility even further. Now what you must do is right click on your tank, click test drive, and press OK. You have to drive a little bit closer to the bridge because you'll adjust the focus of your eyes, basically. Once you're pretty much in this position, press options, and to the right there should be PostFX. Click on it. Vignette, it's just extremely annoying tunnel vision thing. Turn it off to 0. TPS sharpness, super important. What you have to do now is look at the further range, like tanks that are a little bit further, and maybe even that tree line right over there, and increase this value until you feel like you focused your eyes, and it feels like there's no more blur. But remember, the higher the value, the more jitter there might be. So you gotta find the balance yourself. It's very different for everyone. I personally keep it at around 75 to 90%. Gunner, bomber, and cockpit sharpness, I just set it to 60%. Color correction default, lens flare. I choose the enable in replays so that in game it wouldn't cover anything for me, but in replays it would look very, very beautiful. Tone mapping. Now there's two pretty cool tips. What I do is I set up Reinhardt first. You choose this one and set it to 0, because whenever you get a map where you have this nuclear sun in your face, you will always have it ready and you can change to Reinhardt and it will go away. And then I set another tone mapping option to Polynom. Now, these are the values that I use. If it looks completely acidic for you, you can just change it for yourself, but it should look okay. Basically, A is maximum, B is minimum, C, D, E, and F is also maximum. And for now, set white to 0. This thing actually is owned by very, very few pro players, and only a few of them use it. So now to set up white option, you must come close to tank and shoot it to destroy it. And when it starts burning like super bright, all that kind of stuff, very quickly press escape. And what you do now is very, very slowly increase white. The fire itself will become a little bit bluish in color as if it's extremely hot. If you make it too high, it will just look very weird. Not only that, for some people, burning ammo rack in bluish flames looks cool, some players use it to enhance tracer visibility because it catches your eye easier, especially in blinding environments. For some people, it works wonders. For others, it's just not their cup of tea and they like flames in red and brown, all that kind of stuff. It also helps pinpoint the location of the sun a little bit more accurately. You know what? Actually, if you look at the sun in real life for a good couple minutes, it actually starts looking pretty much exactly like those colors, I'm not gonna lie. PostFX setup, now let's go to main parameters. First thing first, you will notice that you have this gamma option, which allows you to make the game even brighter. This is extremely important if you're getting night battles. So if you get like night battle matches, you can just crank it up to the maximum and it will reduce the need of just sitting in thermals for the entire match. Now, other main parameter settings. Click on common battle settings. What you do is turn off camera shake, sense of light, and most importantly, turn off join already active battles because it puts you at a massive disadvantage. It's crazy. You will lose all timings, you will lose a lot of positions. It just, enemy is already waiting for you and you just spawned in. You can keep automatic squadrons on because you're just gonna get free silver. It's not gonna be a lot, but there's absolutely no point on turning it off. Now click on ground vehicle battle settings. And first thing first, turn off grass and tank sight. It is horrible. It will make shooting through sniper mode a freaking hell sometimes. Now scroll a little bit down and you'll see hit indicator fade time. Increase it till about like 8 to 10 seconds so that you would have enough time to react, especially if you're fighting multiple opponents and someone shot you from somewhere. It will still be there and not fade out after you're done fighting. That's done. Now let's go to sound settings. If you're like me and you use heavy duty headphones, then just use stereo, you'll be fine. If you have a sound card or fancy headset, it's so good, dude. But if you have a sound card or some sort of fancy headset, then you can use 5.1. Volume. It literally is different for everyone, so just set it up to how you feel comfortable. All the other options should be set to lowest except for other player engine noise. That one must be set to maximum. Yes, even gunfire volume goes to 0 because first of all, it is loud enough, and second of all, you will not hear enemies shoot that you can't see anyways because they simply won't render for you to begin with. And these four, I keep it at around 20-25%. And the last thing, custom sites. You can download any custom site that you want. Let's click let's just click on popular. These are popular? All right, let's click on all time. Dude, it was like, it was a freaking, it was a string, dude. That's a motivating site right over there, man. Anyways, the benefit of the site that I use is that it is very intuitive and it's a lot easier to shoot from the field. You develop that field a lot faster as well. What you do is scroll down a little bit and you will see the second link right below this one. Just click on it and download the site. Once it downloaded, just open the file. It should be right over there or maybe here. Now this is where it splits a little bit between Steam and client side. If you're using client side, go to the search bar and type in %app-data% and open that little boy right over there. Now right over there, you'll see app data. Click on it and then click on local. Now you can just scroll down and look for WarThunder, or you can just click randomly on whatever folder and press W on the keyboard and pretty much you're gonna be there. Basically, just open WarThunder file. For Steam users, you're going to already be in WarThunder file. So if you've installed WarThunder in some other file, then just go over there and you'll be fine. Now what you do is find a folder which is called user sites. If you don't have that folder, just drag this folder and you'll be done. If you have it, then what you do is just open it and open the first file that we downloaded. Just drag these little guys into the user site file and you'll be good. Now you can just turn on WarThunder, go to test drive, or you can do it live during the match, but I wouldn't recommend it. Click escape, go to options, and in main parameters, go to ground vehicle battle settings. Right over there, there's a button, site settings, click on that little boy. Now to the right, there's reticle. Click on this word right over here and then choose a gladiator site, and that's it, you have the reticle. If you don't like the color of the site, you can change the color of the site right over here. If you want a reload timer, you can add it, or a bullet type. You can also add this thing if you want to, if you need to. You can adjust the font size. You can just play around over here. And once you make the site look the way you want it to look, press save again right over there. Press save, give it a random name, and click save, all that kind of stuff. So now you can either go to the left corner right over there and just click on the vehicles that you want to have this site on and always click save, or you can choose it by rank and save. But what I do, I just personally, as soon as I get into the battle, I see that my site is the wrong site. I go quickly to menu, site settings, choose the site that I want to use, and click save on that left side. And it's all good. So you can just do it one by one. It's absolutely fine. If during the match your site breaks, you can press Alt F9 and most of the time it fixes. I bet some guys are already downloading the special motivational content. Anyways, I appreciate you sticking around till the end of the video. See you, gentlemen. Freaking legend.
Well done.